Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACTN TV. It's always a pleasure. Every Tuesday evening, we come to you from 8 to 9, where we bring you something relevant in sport in Trinidad and Tobago. A big shout out to the loyal viewers, and Kappa, big shout out to you again. Hope the feeling and the health and everything is coming along. I appreciate you as one of my, I didn't even know that, but I appreciate you now as one of my big fan who always, look onto the show. Tonight, we're going to be talking generally sports in Trinidad and Tobago, and maybe we'll touch a little bit on the international scene, but we want to concentrate more on the local sport as we go 2019 looking forward. And to help me, break it down and to talk a bit about the sports in Trinidad and Tobago is Dennis Lawrence, the CEO of Rep 868. A lot of you all would have known and seen this face because the face was on Gael TV, also Win TV. Now he's on his own doing his thing in sports, and one of the persons who is really, dedicated to sports in Trinidad and Tobago, and not to be mixed up with Lasana via 868. There's Rep 868. Dennis, it's a pleasure.
Thank you, George.
Long
Thank
time.
you for having me.
We're trying to put this together.
It's been a while, right?
Yeah.
Just one correction, though.
Yeah.
And thanks for having me on the show. Dennis Allen. Dennis Lawrence is my big brother.
Oh, gosh.
Just kidding.
Dennis Allen. Is Lawrence I say?
Dennis Lawrence. But, that's a great place to start. Football.
Yeah. Well, let's start with football.
Dennis Lawrence.
Yeah, let's start with
under pressure.
Right.
We could get back to me and talk about me as a little small P-word. But Dennis Lawrence is under pressure
How?
in there. Because you're trying to play into top 32 or 48 now that Infantino has expanded the number of teams going to play in the World Cup final. You want to go up at least 20 spots on your world rating, right? But with what? How are you going to do that? If I tell you I want 2 doubles this morning, right? I had to come with money for 2 doubles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what if I reach by the man and the double's smelling good and I say, you know what, I could lash the next one. I had to have something in reserve. I can't feel like if I want to eat 5 doubles and I don't even have money for the small chubby to go with the doubles, I don't even have, where the resources? Where's the support coming from? And people always want to blame the players, blame the president, but it's systemic. I don't want to put all the blame on David John Williams because I don't think it's him alone is the problem. I don't think Dennis alone is the problem. I don't think the players alone is the problem. But if you have a situation where there are no sponsors, everything is today for tomorrow. Look at the situation last year with the visa situation where they're coming in and applying late for visa. Come on. If I had to go somewhere right now, my passport, it expired, I had to go and renew my passport. You feel like I just show up and say, hey, my name is Dennis Tay. Hey, I need a passport. No, it doesn't work like that. So there are so many different things that are systemically wrong. Looking at sport in Trinidad and Tobago, football is no exception. You know what I mean? And I think Dennis needs to pull out while he still has a reputation, because he's clearly talented. He clearly knows his thing. But sticking with a team that is only going to drag the flag, and not because of the players, I want to be very, very, very specific there. You need to get out. It's not that you're leaving the sinking ship, but it's the whole thing, the port crash, you're seeing flames on the horizon. It's time for you to find somewhere else to go.
Yeah.
And I think he left a really good opportunity in Wrexham. I think he left that on the table there. I think it was a big mistake, a career-ending mistake, I think. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah, I think and look, if you also look at the women's football side too, that catastrophic failure to advance into in the World Cup qualifying last year. Why? Our women were complaining about things that the Jamaican women never tweet about, never post about. They never had no Instagram live about. Why? Because they accept their reality. And you see this thing called bad mind? Bad mind sometimes is more important to the athlete than preparation. You have to go out there and say, you know what? No matter what the obstacles are, I am going to push on through.
We'll come back to the disappointments, but if we do a quick reflection on 2018, because
Sure,
where we
sure,
want
sure.
to look at is 2019 in sports and beyond. But if we look at a quick reflection on 2018, the positive, we had a lot of
Right,
positive
for
things
sure.
in football. We had the cycling, we had the volleyballers, we did
Yeah,
netballers,
yeah.
the rugby girls, and we did pretty well in track and field.
You know, it's we hear and we're talking about 2018. 2018, as good as we've been for years and years and years, 2018 is the first international gold medal by a female sprinter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you look at
As Michelle Yahi.
yes, right? Commonwealth gold medal for Michelle Yahi. All right. What does that mean? How do we learn from that moment where Michelle Lee and of course Jareem, but let's look at the women's side. How do we learn from that moment? What do we take from that moment? All the best sprinters that we had out there and all the character games wins and all of that, we only reached an Olympic final in 2016 in Rio, right? In London, we also reached a final in London as well. So when we start to look at those things, we have so much invested in one person, Michelle Yahi, in that sport. But then on the same side, you see in newspaper headlines talking about her lifestyle.
That was important. That was important. I found that she didn't get the proper write-up in the newspaper putting into the sport than her private life.
And for me, I would say my personal choices are mine, right? I mean, obviously this is a Christian network, so there would be people who would say, but this is not biblical, or this lifestyle doesn't prescribe to certain things. But the fact is, if I reported
on sports,
right,
and the individual did well on sports,
exactly,
I highlight that. Right. That other part of your lifestyle, that is you
leave it,
and
leave
whoever.
It to you and your maker.
Exactly.
And I think that the national mainstream media really dropped the ball there, because that's none of your business. That is not for you to talk about, right? And I think in the modern media landscape, where so much of sports story leads come from online, Instagram, Twitter. Here you are examining an athlete's personal, blocked, personal, private Instagram page and talking about their lifestyle. Meanwhile, you win a medal and you're gone. That's it. You know what I mean? So I find we lost a moment that we could have built and capitalized on women's sports specifically, and Michelle Lee now has to look at herself as, okay, although I am a gold medalist, the first of my kind, in a lot of ways, she has to be seen as an underdog brand.
Yeah.
And start marketing herself as an underdog brand. And I think she would have a lot more success and a lot more peace of mind if she approached things that way.
Do you think that our local athletes, both male and female, do not spend enough time under proper management or under proper marketing people to market them outside? Now, why I say that too, because sometimes we see a lot of our athletes in front of a microphone with a reporter. They cannot speak properly. They cannot explain themselves properly. Right? Do you think that is an issue that they overlook, or it's bad management?
You have to learn things. If you speak to a typical American college quarterback or something like that, or a high school superstar, all of the answers are canned. We really gave it all today. You never really hear anything about a personal revelation or personal at any moment of personal worth coming out of these interviews. Why? Because they learn these things and they just rattle them off. Even as you go up into the NBA, very few, even a well-spoken athlete like LeBron James, for instance, very few of them you hear any real personality coming out. you know. So for me, when I look around, strangely enough, N3 is National Track and Field governing body. They had their award ceremony, and one of the youngsters, I believe is under 9 or under 11, outstanding athlete, Zane. I gave Zane the mic, and Zane was like, I was like, wow, this kid can speak. You know, he could also run really fast. But sometimes we don't always get that combination. Some athletes are very private. Like one of the athletes I've been following, Naomi Osaka, tennis player. She beat Serena Williams in the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
She's very shy. She doesn't want the world to get too close. She doesn't have a lot of friends. But she's a bit of a show person. It's just she's
But the
not sure
speaking
if,
is concerned.
she's not sure if people get her jokes. But she's funny. She's a lot of person. But when she speaks, you really hear her heart on her sleeve. You know, some athletes can do that. Some athletes are comfortable with that space. Like she's now starting to get comfortable with it. And I think a lot of people just need to just shed the scales and come out and say how they really feel. How do you really feel about that win? How do you really feel about coming second? How do you really feel about your prospects for this season? You have a little injury or whatever, and you just talk. But a lot of athletes, we're talking about Trini here too. So if you point your mic at any average Trini, George,
disappointed.
it's sad. It's really sad. But I don't think that we're natural public speakers. And like last year, one of the things I did too is I went into Arangua's North Secondary, and a friend of mine, she's a teacher there. Shout out to Ruth, and she invited me to speak with some of the children there, and they have so much in them, but the moments and the opportunities to express themselves, we don't get it. Typical sports report on the evening news. Chuck up in the last 5 minutes, maybe I get 3 minutes, you know? And most of it is EPL, cricket, football, Spanish League, La Liga. Local sports is a very, very small portion.
And there is a lot of local sports,
so many sports,
that
exactly.
we don't hear about, you know, and I mean, even in the rural communities. Like I was down, recently I went down to Faizabad in the Gallows. Right. That is the Gallows is where the top national footballers in the 60s, the Steve David, the Archibald, all of them careers started there, right? And there was a community league running there, and I mean, I saw some talent, and to be honest, in the teams had some former pro league players too. So it's not a watered down. It's a good combination, and it's a mixed combination because there are some young. Because the guy who was the captain of one of the teams that included guys from former W Connection players was a guy must be about not more than 18. You know, a young guy. He could be old and
still
younger, right? So we don't get community or the local sports don't get enough coverage. And on top of that, all the top athletes, the Michelle Lee Ahi, the Brian Lara, all these guys, is from in the bush they started.
Very true as well.
And some of them come up now that some of the people who interviewing them don't even know the history of how it started for them, where it started. You understand? So you are quite right when you said that. But besides Michelle Lee Ahi, we had Jerim.
Yeah, but now, I want to go back to the women. Tennille Campbell.
Oh, yes.
Amazing athlete, you know? And Tennille had some first. All right, so the year previous, she had done the double at the Caribbean Road Championships. Right? Road time trial, road race. Alexi Costa did that this year. Well, in 2018. Right? Amazing. Right? These are unprecedented, right? So yes, Tennille has been flying the flag. She's been doing that. Then she went to CAC Games and came fourth in the individual time trial on the road by 7 seconds. What people need to understand is that the people who are beating her are pros.
Yeah.
Right? Tennille has been training with the UCI development program.
But she only recently went there last year. She was
Exactly.
Yeah, so she kind of new on the international scene. She has been locally for trained for quite a while.
Right. So it's homegrown. Now her mommy was, I think, a CAC athlete as well, right? I'm not sure if
I think she was
did
in
Olympics.
netball or something. There was her sport.
I think she used a long jump.
Long jump, yeah. If you're hockey.
And maybe she did other sports, because back in them days, you're doing everything.
Yeah,
You're tall,
yeah,
hey,
yeah.
cool, come and play. You know, and so genetically she's a blaster. You know, she's really tall, she's powerful, she's well suited to her sport. I think she just beat on Sunday there. She won because usually the ladies race with the juniors and juvenile boys, and I think she won the road sprint, the sprint on the road against a boy, which says a lot.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because the fact is, although we want equality, biological equality is maybe about 5 billion years of evolution, depending on who you ask, away, right? So Tennille has accomplished something that, in my mind, has been under the radar. What the quality it takes to win on the road is amazing. You know, to see that she's beaten pros. You know, the Cuban rider is a pro. She rides with Astana in Europe. You know, not temporarily, not as a blind, like Tennille got a little thing at the end to see what she could do. Astana is a full pro team, and this Cuban cyclist is riding full time on a full pro team, you know, and just the logistics of a Cuban riding for a private enterprise. Think about that for a second, you know, because a lot of the Cold War era nonsense is still taking place because Cuba still, the U.S. embargo is still in place over there. So there's so many things standing in her way. But you don't hear her tweeting about it. You know what I mean? She just goes out and do her work. And Tennille won against quality like that. I mean, you really don't get bad mind like a Cuban athlete. You know?
True.
When they leave Cuba, they going and they coming out to take scalps.
Talk to the boxers.
Exactly.
Talk to the boxers.
You know what I mean? So it was a really important moment for us, and I think mainstream media again. Although everybody did a story on her, but one, you know what I mean? So we need to do a little better, especially by way of our top elite female athletes. I think we haven't really done enough there.
Well, I was told we need to take a break.
Oh!
So we're going to take a break.
Having fun?
Viewers, you are viewing Scoreboard here on ACT, and we're talking to Dennis Allen, the CEO of Rep 868, and we're generally talking sports as we look forward to a great 2019, because a lot of our teams and our athletes have qualified for major tournaments. So stay tuned, we'll be right back after the short break.
You're now changing your question.
What I would say, Steve, is this.
My first question was, and roll back the tape.
I made my debut for Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur.
My responsibility was to get the ball and make things happen offensively.
In all the time we've played together, I've always been the decoy.
Welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua De Matos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. Hello, Messi.
Unfortunately, kiss the badge, kiss the badge. Oh, what's that?
Welcome to this edition of the interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Shakir.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard here on ACT. And as we continue our discussion here with Dennis Allen. Dennis, we spoke a bit about a couple of the girls, you know, who we felt were outstanding last year.
Yeah.
Tennille and Michelle Lee. There are others, but, you know, that'll take like forever to discuss. But
sure.
those were the two main ladies. Let's talk a bit about the guys now. We had Nicholas Paul.
And
Nicholas Paul has just, to me, suddenly appeared.
Yes.
Right? Because the names in cycling...
3 years ago, basically, yeah.
You wasn't hearing Nicholas Paul. And
see, the thing about Nicholas Paul is this. Great talent. But where did he come from? He got injured playing football, and he decided to pick up cycling to rehab his knee. Then, whoop, swash, he's on the bike, he's winning. He gets a opportunity to go to the UCI training camp. Some of our athletes had gone there before, so it's not like it's some magic wand that turns you from a ugly duckling into this beautiful swan, right? He had to apply himself. And then he came back, Junior Pan Ams, Elite Pan Ams, and now CAC gold, triple gold, Pan Am team sprint gold. So now they get to wear the rainbow, well, not rainbow, the blue and red stripe on the kit, which they debuted this weekend in Hong Kong for the last UCI World Cup. They missed for another thing. We were talking about it just now about the bookkeeping that needs to be taking place in sports. So they missed the opportunity to go in New Zealand, which in my opinion, they could have podiumed because, not because of the slow teams, but because they were in form.
At that point,
and the teams that they would have been riding, although it's the same names on the country code, Australia, New Zealand, France, it's not the same gentlemen on the bikes. So in a lot of ways, those teams sent their development riders or some of their older riders, like France sent Gregory Bourget, who's amazing talent, still very, very good, but he's not their top guy. Right now, Purvis is their top guy. So when you see names like that on the teams, you know you missed an opportunity. Why? The manager, the coach, they said that they didn't get their visa application sorted out. Oh, come on,
recurring decimal.
You know, so that to me, for cycling, that should not have been the case, right? But okay, fine, no problem. Hong Kong. Jacene Phillips is still a really amazing athlete. But what I respect about what Jacene is doing is Jacene is allowing Nicholas to shine. You know, I remember back in like the late 80s when I really started following cycling and things, the Maxwell, Cheeseman, Gene Samuel, that kind of, it's almost like we were fighting amongst
every
ourselves.
Man for himself.
Like,
every man for himself.
When you watch those four guys, Jacene Phillips, Nicholas Paul, Karen Bramble, Kwesi Brown.
Well, I could tell you about Bramble. Anywhere you see Bramble, you see Jacene.
Right.
Right?
You know what I mean?
They're like twins, you know.
Yeah, but they were also teammates. Right? But the other guys are not teammates.
Exactly. So it shows
they're
you
national teammates. But they're always on each other lives on Instagram. They're really like four brothers. You know, and I've always said to Aaron Hartwell, who's the program, the real guts and gears in the program. You know, you have four Ferraris to pick from, you know. It's really amazing. Not a lot of teams in the world have 4 sub-10 sprinters at the same time.
I think Paul is number 2 in...
Rank number 2 in the sprint?
Yes, yeah.
Right. Now, all that said and done, the team sprint has problems, right? We have 4 really top guys, and if you stretch it back, we have 2 other guys who are also very good quality. But do we want to just show up? Do we want to go and look good? Or do we really want to challenge for a podium spot? To challenge for a podium spot, we need one more guy to step up. I'm not going to call names, but we need one more guy. Trinidad, Tobago, wherever you are, if you could ride a bike really, really fast, call Aaron Hartwell. It's really that simple. Because although the guys have been doing really well, what is the objective? Are we trying to podium? Are we trying to make a final? Are we riding for the gold medal? Are we riding for the bronze medal? Or are we just going to see how fast we could go? If it's that, then that's really a hobby, you know? And I don't subscribe to spending a lot of taxpayers' money in a $500 million state-of-the-art facility to see how fast we could go. You know what I mean?
True.
And so that's my personal take. But, you know, the guys have done really well. World Cup leading into the World Championships this year. We expect that we will have Karen, team sprint, and individual sprint. So I think we will have 2 guys in the individual sprint. We'll have at least 1 guy in the Karen, which should be Quincy Brown if everything goes well. Excuse me. And we will have 2 guys in the, and we'll have the team in the team sprint. In my opinion, if everything goes according to plan, we can make it into the top 8. And if you make it into the top 8, anything could happen.
True. Yeah.
But you have to show up.
On the day. You have to,
You see that first ride? If we put it all together, Lord, yes. If we put it together, we could make it into the 8. All right? And if we make it there, all bets off, anything could happen. And I'm really excited. All my paws raised when I'm thinking about. I'm really excited about.
No, I think
segment.
Trinidad and Tobago is expecting great things in cycling this for 2019.
Yeah. And you know who else too? Dylan Carter.
No, yeah, because after George Bovell, we were looking for who is the next swimmer. But unlike Paul, Dylan Carter's name has been calling.
Since he was about 11.
Yeah, since he called it. His own name is always up there. But I think last year, I think that was his most successful year in the sport.
3 events. He went from CAC gold medal, set a new PB, new national record in the 50 meter. It was backstroke. Then he went to another one of the FINA World Cups, personal record again, personal best national record. And then put it all together in China, bronze medal, new national record. And he took between CAC in summer and the bronze medal in December, he went from 51.50 to 51.13. You know, I mean, in a short sprint like that, the 50 meters is one stretch of the pool, right? So for you to take off a quarter second, I mean, we should be talking about that. We should be, you know, we're supposed to have, you know, high speed cameras examining everything, but we don't have that because in a lot of ways, I don't think we take sports seriously now, you know, and that leads into something else that we were going to talk about as well, you know, the business of sport in general.
Yeah.
But aside from that, let me check my notes here. Jareem Richards.
Jareem.
You know, Jareem knocked on the door at the last Outdoor World Championships in England a while back and, you know, came 3rd. But his start wasn't brilliant. You know, a lot of the times when you're doing 400, 200, it don't matter how you start because when you're coming down to the last 20 meters, that's where you win or lose the race.
Yeah.
But when you're looking for incremental gains, because it's hundreds and thousands of a second you're really looking for. Not really you're not looking for no 1 second. If you're that far out of the mix, you're not even in the event. So the incremental gains, he lost a couple steps at the start in that World Championship final and it cost him. He didn't make that mistake again. And Darnell Hughes tried to cut off the head there. You know, I always say, you know, I told him at NCAA's awards, you know, he had to learn some mixed martial arts in case he run a lane assignment next time. But, you know, Jareem is such a humble guy.
Yeah, if you really know his story, where you know, from when he started.
In the bush again, right?
Right. Rural community. Point, yeah.
That's right.
You understand? So, but I think with proper coaching, and I think he's a level-headed guy. So I don't see him, you know, going off track, but staying focused.
Yeah.
right? We need to take our final break. When we come back, well, we have talked a bit about the male and the female top athletes. We're going to touch a bit about some of the teams.
Indeed.
Right?
Big year coming up.
Big year coming up for a lot of the team sport. Viewers will be right back after the short break.
You're now changing your question.
What I would say, Steve, is this.
My first question was, and roll back that tape.
I made my debut for Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur.
My responsibility was to get the ball and make things happen offensively.
In all the time we've played together, I've always been the decoy.
Welcome to Field of Dreams on ACTN. My name is Steve David, and I'm your host.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another edition of Scoreboard here on ACT, and it's always a pleasure to be in your company every Tuesday evening between the hours of 8 and 9.
Welcome to the new season of Football 101. I am your host, Joshua De Matos.
Well, it's time for your weekly football news update. Hello, me Messi.
Unfortunately, kiss the badge, kiss the badge. Oh, what's that?
Welcome to this edition of the interview, and as you can see, I'm not alone on the set. I have Marcus, a Liverpool fan, and I have Shakir.
Welcome back, viewers. Welcome back to Scoreboard here on ACTN TV. I'm speaking with Dennis Allen. Dennis, we have talked a bit about the male and female top, a couple of them, because there are a lot more that we can discuss, but those who really, stood out. We want to talk a bit about team sport, netball, volleyball.
Volleyball, women.
Yeah, and
guys too.
Yeah,
guys too. Netball, but
and
volleyball guys are doing well.
Yeah, and the rugby girls who qualify for the CAC, right? And also
beach football girls as well.
Right. So where do we start?
At the top, top two women's teams in the country right now: netball and volleyball. Volleyball had a baptism by fire. They had their first game in the World Championships last year was against the team that won the most World Championships.
Yeah, tough call.
Yeah, and those Russian women, they're all pros. They're all full-time athletes. And we played some women who some of them are pros. Some of them are doing really well in professional teams.
A small amount. The rest have their normal,
the rest are
everyday.
People who have jobs, people in school, people who, and I think that affected our preparation. And when you're going into a situation like that, everything has to be aligned in your favor. And last minute, asking for money because you're not sure if you go. Your bag pack, all your shoes and things move from under the bed, and you have everything lined up, and you're not sure if you have a ticket in your hand. That could mentally mess with your whole game plan, because you're training, but you're not sure. You're doing your running, but you're not sure, why am I doing this? And it's done hard enough already. So I think it was stacked against the women, and they had opportunity to really win one game. It didn't work out. They really, I think after the first set against Russia and then against USA, I think they lost some of that emotional steam. And then when they got the food that they could have eaten, I don't think their game plan, their game strategy was being executed well enough. I didn't get to see the games. The games were behind some of the most sophisticated internet security ever, Boy George. I feel like I only watching bootleg sports streams.
Yeah.
Sunday morning is MotoGP or Formula One.
Right.
I watching everything on bootleg. Couldn't find them games nowhere, boy. So hats off to whoever was the IT people for volleyball.
Yeah.
You beat me.
Yeah.
But I watched some of the highlights,
Yeah.
and you know, the game strategy was just like these women are just snapping. So, but we there, you know, nothing better than the first time, and right. So next time we'll be ready. We'll be more prepared. Hopefully, if we.
But do you
don't-
think that the mistake we tend to make with all sports right now is that pre-camp? We either start
too late,
too
too
late,
little, too late,
or we
Not
start with a lot of baggage over us, financial or something. Most of our teams, football, cricket, whatever it is, we don't seem to get a proper pre-camp where everything is in place, that the athletes have nothing to worry about except going out there and play the sport. Most of the time is that, yes, the camp start, but there's an issue with visa, there's an issue with funding, there's an issue with food, there's an issue with something. And I don't think that is fair to the athlete.
Fair enough. Straightforward, yes, you make a point there. Well, let me ask you, how long you in sports? How long you following sports? How long you been a sports fan?
Well,
at least 40 years.
Anything
different?
Yeah. No.
It had there ever been a different time in Trinidad and Tobago sports history? No.
Yeah, because if you talk to them guys, from the 1973 World Cup team, they'll give you stories.
Exactly.
Even before that.
Yeah, in a week I'll be 48, right? Knock on wood. And I have never heard of a sports team coming from Trinidad and Tobago that had everything lined up. Not even the 2006 World Cup men in Germany. We didn't have things in place. And say what you want to say about Jack Warner and his stewardship. That is for them and the courts in the USA to figure out.
Yeah.
What I can say is that under that era, it didn't have no late visa application. Let's just put it like that,
right? It had money. It had money.
And you weren't hearing about players not being paid for 6 games. You weren't hearing those things.
Yeah.
So, you know, something that we talked off air is when you have good news in the media and when you have bad news in the media, when a brand who might be saying, all right, I want to put something, you know, my brand is on my shirt front because this is my brand. You know, if I do something stupid on my social media and I lose a whole set of followers, what happens? It's my fault. My money jumping up.
Yeah.
But what if I get George money? How am I now going to drag my flag and drag your brand too? So a lot of the private enterprises is looking at sports as a toxic environment, and rightly so, right? I didn't want to talk about it, but basketball.
Yeah, oh gosh.
Let me don't talk about it.
Let's hope 2019 and beyond, with the new president and everything, get in place and we see some improvement in basketball. But we haven't done
From your lips to God's ears.
We haven't done nothing in basketball for
almost 6 or 7 years. We haven't had a national team go out
and we were the
anywhere.
leaders in basketball.
Right? So we know we don't get it right enough times. You got to do what you got to do, because at the end of the day, it's an opportunity. What are you training for? You know, you training and you doing all of that work, and then you banking on your emotional high to come from a check that might be on time and is the correct amount, or a plane ticket that you get in your hand 2 weeks before your flight. It just don't. Trinidad and Tobago athletes, it's never going to happen. Tell yourself that, and you won't be disappointed. You know, and I think that affects us a lot. But the other team, so we talked about volleyball, netball, world championships coming up. I watched some of those games. Thankfully, the Netball Americas,
they stream the games.
They stream the games, and I have to say, I haven't watched netball for a long time. I was really, really glad to see the way, the pace, the accuracy of passing, everything. Those women really executed well. We have a couple of top elite athletes internationally who are well-respected international pros. Samantha Wallace.
Yeah.
She used to play basketball. We lost basketball. I'm a basketballer.
We lost
I coached.
yeah.
I coached basketball for like 11 years in St. Mary's College, and so I consider myself a basketballer. We lost a good athlete because of bad organizational management. But she did well. She's a netballer. She's always played 2 sports, and she's a very well respected pro. We need a few more of her. We have a problem in Trinidad though. We tease tall girls. See tall, skinny girls?
For real.
We tease them.
For real. How was the breeze up there?
Yeah, baby giraffe. We teasing. And I was speaking with Reza Grant at beach volleyball annual awards, and she's like, you have to love us. We're rare. And it's true.
Yeah.
How often do you see a girl over 6 feet tall as a teenager?
And what I noticed with the over 6 footers now, the women, they are not skinny anymore like before.
Yeah.
They are in the gym, so they are powerful.
Yeah.
So it strikes a...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
maybe we are intimidated.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And we need to start understanding that if a girl running around in the yard, it's not because she's a tomboy. There's a conversation I had with my sister. She's like, growing up, I wanted to run around and do all these sports, but it was not feminine. It was, it was not something that you were encouraged to do as a girl. My sister is 5'10". She could have probably been a somebody, through sport or something. But the fact is, we don't encourage tall girl, strong girl, those are things. I want to go in the gym, but I don't want to look too strong. I don't want to get too buff.
That's why we see some of our female footballers, when they're running on the field, they're too feminine.
And they start too late.
Yeah.
They start, a lot of our female athletes start in secondary school. That's too late. We need to get physical literacy programs into preschools. Just
Is
as
it that
much.
we start too late too, or when we start, we don't start under qualified people?
I was hearing somebody in gymnastics trying to make a point that we don't have enough qualified coaches. All right, okay. If I have a kid, I send my kid by where I think they're going to get the best results.
Right.
It's not like we have this strong community-based network that, if I want to bring my child into sport, I live in Mova or I live in Santa Cruz, they're telling you, nah, boy, you can't come in town, you live in Mova, boy. No, I'm going to look for the best team. I'm going to look for the most successful team that teaches what I think my child is going to be in the end, because I'm 6 feet tall. I have 4 sons. They're all, the older ones are watching me in my eyeball. The 2 younger ones are watching me like, I'll be like, these boys growing real fast.
True.
So obviously, size is not going to be a problem for them. So what do? Do I get them into something early? Yes. And I am not going to be restricted by something. I am going to look and do my due diligence and say, okay, is this coach good enough?
Yeah.
Maybe, okay, where are the results? What did the team place last year?
See, some of us don't do that. There is a football clinic in the back street, but because I want to be free on the weekend, I put you in that camp there. Now, the child might really turn out to be a good footballer, right? But you can do the research on the coach and say, send him there now. So he might stay about 3 years there under this coach. But when he leaves that 3 years now, he goes somewhere else. He has to start all over, right? Because he went there with a daycare.
I think it's more problematic for football and cricket because those things you see a lot of regional teams. You have a lot of strong zonal presence. So maybe it's true for those sports. I don't think it's true for all sports.
No, not for really all sports, but I talk generally those 2 sports, because basically when you look all around the country, you see little football camp popping up all about, but how much of the coaches are qualified?
Yeah, and I think that's something that you as a parent have to take. You have to look and say, okay, did I put my kid into the wrong program? And you'll have to evaluate those things. You see it a lot in track and field. You're seeing kids jumping around, hopping around, skipping around and things, looking for the right mix. Mainly because their parents want them to be something and the coach is telling them, you're not a sprinter. Everybody wants to run 200 and 100 and 400. Let me ask you a question. Do they give you a different gold medal when you win, like, javelin or something?
But I said because look at field events right in Trinidad.
Huge. Right? Like, I saw Shaquille Wade throw this weekend. 78 meters.
I'm expecting
You
great
know?
things from him, you know.
I see the great
because
things,
he's
you know?
strong, you know.
And Saturday was a windy day.
Mhm.
So, you know, the wind really picked up the javelin and it floated a little too, and it didn't work out for him. But 78, I mean,
Yeah,
first throw of the
yeah,
season, that's
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah.
You know, so I always ask, what is the difference between a sprint medal and a throws medal or a jumps medal? Why
everybody wants 100 and 200?
When you watch like a under 9, you have 100 meters, you have 6 flights, 4 jumpers, 4 throwers. Why everybody want to be a sprinter? I mean, we have a good history, but I think a lot of it is that when athletes don't win, they get out of the sport too early. They lose their enthusiasm. They don't train as hard, you know? Conversely, when they win too easily, like there are a couple of female athletes who have been doing really well. They're beating everybody, and then internationally when they go out, you know, the first sign of pressure, they crack it.
Yeah.
You know, mainly because it's a little too easy for them. I think what we need to do is we need to start looking and saying, okay, everybody can be a sprinter. Same problem in cycling as well. Everybody want to be back in the 80s and 90s. Kilos sprint. We lost a lot of good road racers because we just didn't have enough road racing. So everybody, to get a piece of the little crumb, because it's not even a pie, right? You have to be a sprinter. You had the right kilo. You had to be, oh, come on. You know, there's a young guy, I don't want to call his name, but he's in the pool of sprinters right now. Everybody wants to see him on the national team try, I think. I'm like, okay. But he's a really good endurance rider.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a road sprinter.
Why you want to?
Right? But a road sprinter, you got to ride 100 miles before you sprint. You know, there are few people who could be really good at that. Okay. And I think he's one of those people. Okay.
Well, Dennis, we have covered, well, we know sports is a huge area, but we have covered so far, you know, some of the top female males and some of the teams. We just have about 10 minutes remaining. As we look forward to 2019, what's your prediction? What are some of the areas and some of the individuals or teams that you are looking forward to see, right? And how do we as a people, right, and the government get on board to support the athletes to make sure that their lives are comfortable, so when they go to the tournament or whatever event, they have no baggage or nothing to worry about?
Unfortunately, George, that's not about to happen in 2019. To use a phrase,
we're coming close to the election.
To use a phrase from former Minister of Sport Darrell Smith, Dennis, right now I write in budgets in pencil because every minute it's changing. And that was last year. This year, the minister, I don't even think she writing it in pencil. That's to tell you.
Well, I see
it's going to be a dry
Well,
season.
they said this year could be a terrible dry season. You know?
Worst on record. And I mean, we might sound a little glib, but it's going to be bad. It's going to go from bad to worse. We're going to see, unfortunately, my prediction is, unless things change drastically, we're going to see a major team not go to a major championship, possibly this year, for the simple reason we don't have money. People will say, but look, they were going to spend so much money on sandals. The fact is, to create that wealth, you have to have a project. So you're not going to have, Prime Minister Rowley does not have a bag of money sit down underneath his seat in cabinet. No, it doesn't work like that. So to create a sandals, you have to create a business plan. And then the investors or the bankers are saying, you know, maybe I could put something behind that, right? Sport is not a business in Trinidad and Tobago. The government and the municipalities own all of the infrastructure. All the stadiums are owned by the government. All the playing fields are owned and run and managed by the municipal corporations. What does that mean? It means that you can't monetize the investment. So you have billions of dollars of infrastructure, billions, literally, right? I estimate it at maybe about $14 billion worth of sports infrastructure in sports in Trinidad and Tobago. But it is in the hands of the government, and it is not possible for you as a NSO or as a promoter to come in on one weekend and make money. If you look at one of the oldest franchises in sport, the New York Yankees, right? They have a deal with the New York municipality, state and local government to run the Yankee Stadium, right? So they own the land, they own the stadium, but they have not just concession. It's like if we have to start thinking, okay, we want to hand over some of these arenas to a sport. We have another problem too. All of the venues are multi-sport venues. So we have a $500 million state-of-the-art cycling arena. Velodrome is perfect, great, but it has to share with gymnastics and volleyball. Why?
Yeah.
Why? Just build a training shed for them. We don't have a need for volleyball to train in a velodrome. We need cyclists to train in a velodrome. You could put volleyballers, because they have their own court, build a shed that have every weekend you go and drive around Trinidad and Tobago, you're seeing a warehouse, a mega warehouse going up. Why we can't just think outside of the box? Put them in that, put some proper air conditioning, and let them train there and let them compete at a big venue.
Yeah.
So yes, it will have a competition side. And when the sport matures enough where there is a competitive international competition, where you can bring in fans, money, sponsors, all of that. You just hand over the venue, say, okay, cool, we will backstop you with some marketing and all of that. Never happened. Cycling hosted the Pan Am Elite Championships in 2017. And now they are, what, $1.5 million in the hole?
In that, yeah.
Right? Why is that happening? Bad business model. Someone the other day told me, you have a good idea doesn't mean you have a good business. A good idea probably means that somebody else had that good idea. What is business about? The business of sport in Trinidad and Tobago. Look at who is successful. Queen's Park. Queen's Park Cricket, they own their own venue, right? So yes, they have multi-sport, but you feel that somebody could just go and run some seven-a-side competition and the people in them Queen's Park oval cricket pitch?
You could get it, but at a price.
But not even a month before cricket had
Well,
played
no,
there.
not before cricket, but you will get it, but not at a price. But once cricket is on the horizon, that is it.
Right.
Right?
Look at Arima Velodrome, Arima Municipal Stadium. Dry. Why? Because they don't have the money to put there, because there are other things.
That's Skinner Park.
Skinner Park. Look, the other day I went down. Yeah, they paved the thing, the cycle track there. Nicholas Paul was discovered there. He learned to ride bike there, and that's good, but, so the business model of sport in Trinidad and Tobago is not working. No amount of money the government puts in is going to change that. We need corporate.
Typical example, the Pro League.
Good, that's and Pro League and Super League. How many squads have shirt front sponsors? How many of them have kit sponsors? How many of them have equipment sponsors? There's no TV deal. So how are you going to pay prize money? Registration money helps pay for referees, help pay for venue upkeep, marking the field, all of that stuff. You can't pay prize money out of the money that's coming in. I promote sports. We did a seven-a-side. I used to do for 6 years. We did a basketball tournament. Registration money don't cover prize money.
No.
Right?
That's
how are you going to go in this hard golfer season? How am I going to ask you for money from your business to give me cash to give away? Who does that? Who does that? You know? And so many of the top executives in our sports, their business model is going to the government, going to the ministry. We need a major change. And until that happens, sad news, George. More of the same. And maybe worse.
So, 2019, a bleak year in sports?
Let me put it to you like this. Netball and them booked their ticket yet?
I think the sport and where we might get success is the athletes who are based abroad.
Well, yeah, that's why they're there.
Yeah, we're gonna see success across there.
Yeah.
But for the local guys and girls here who dependent on the government or private sector to issue, sponsorship, I think we're going to be in some problems. But some people are saying, up to yesterday, somebody was telling me, they said, "Where you going to get money this year? Election is next year."
Not going to happen. They don't have money to give.
So
Government running at what, $140 million a day? No, sorry, George. I don't think it's going to be happening.
Well, Dennis, it was a pleasure.
Always, man. We have to do more work, man. That's the prediction.
This is
prediction.
Any closing comments?
I just want to say the sportsmen and women in Trinidad and Tobago, you all do an amazing job, and with little resources, and a lot of it is built on hopes and dreams. Continue, and Rep 868, TT game plan, myself, Jermaine, we're going to be there to capture and highlight all of the moments. Stick around. We're not just doing the football and cricket. As a matter of fact, I don't cover football. I don't cover cricket. So it's everything else. We're going to be there, man. Just look for the guy with the big afro and, the gray and black natty dreads. And I'm going to be there. We're going to highlight your stuff, pump it all over the internet. And, yeah, and we're going to be doing some more work with George.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, bro. Well, viewers, we have come to the end of an edition of Scoreboard here. We were talking to Dennis Allen, the CEO of Rep 868. As we said, we are hoping for the best. We're really hoping for the best. And when we say we're hoping for the best, we're hoping for the best for the athletes, because it's difficult for athletes to be training, especially a young person. And when you reach, to go into a major tournament, you can't go. How does that feel? You understand? So we're hoping to cooperate. By some miracle, something is going to happen. But we really hope that you enjoyed our show tonight. If you miss any part, there's a repeat tomorrow at 1 p.m. And stay tuned. You'll be seeing Dennis a little bit more often. And it's not Dennis Lawrence, it's Dennis Allen. So viewers, keep the faith. Go out and support the sports. We need support in the sports. Don't sit down and criticize. Go out and see the sports and then criticize. Don't stay home and criticize. Right? So, all the best. Enjoy the weekend ahead, and we look forward to seeing you next week, Tuesday. Same time, ACTN TV, Scoreboard.